I went to the charity shop and I bought, well, I'm not going to tell you now. You both have to watch the video and find out. Now, if you love all things flower arranging with a little bit of crafting, days out in the English countryside, and of course, a little bit of charity shop shopping, why don't you consider subscribing to my channel? All you need to do is tap the button that says subscribe, and that means next time you open the YouTube app on your phone, your laptop or your computer, one of my videos will be waiting for you. Last weekend, I went to the charity shop with some friends. We stopped off in the pretty village of Headcorn, which is about 20 miles away from me, between the towns of Maidstone and Ashford. And while we were there, we came across a beautiful Christmas tree festival. This was an added bonus because we were actually on our way to another Christmas tree festival in the neighbouring village of Smarden, and you'll have to watch next week's video to find out more about that fabulous outing. So rather unusually, the Christmas trees here are planted out in the graveyard. Usually all the Christmas tree festivals I've been to before have always taken place inside village churches. And as you can see here, each of the trees have been sponsored either by a local company or in memory of loved ones. It was a rather wet and blustery Saturday morning at the time of our visit. Some of the trees had been decorated and others left bare, but when we returned back to the church later on in the afternoon, more families had come out to do their decorations, ready for the light switch on at 4:15 that afternoon. And in fact, when we got back in the afternoon, we were chatting to one family who were decorating their tree, and they said that this festival is just a few years old, and the first year there were 40 trees, and now this year there are 100 trees. So it really is a really successful local community event. As we walk through the graveyard, we'll head up to the Lich Gate and then into Headcorn High Street to take a look around the 3 charity shops in town. The first charity shop is directly opposite the church, the Downs Farm Trust, which is an equestrian charity. And it's set alongside a lovely little vintage store. So when you go in, turn left for the charity shop and straight ahead and to the right for the vintage shop. But you'll know where you are, depending on the pricing. So as it's just a few weeks from Christmas, there's lots of festive items available. Christmas baubles, I think they were 20p each or 6 for £1. Little Christmas decoration there. I wasn't sure whether this was an as-purchase piece or someone had crafted it. It looks lovely for £1.50 and certainly may well give you some ideas for your favourite ornaments if you've got a spare kilner jar. There was a little bit of a vintage area to the charity shop too. I particularly like this chair. I think it was £15, but set really low, so I can imagine once you were sitting down on it, it would be quite difficult to get back out again. So a little warren of corridors and rooms. You really do have to make sure you actually take the time to look at the shelves, scanning right to the top and right down to the bottom, and see what treasures you can find. And talking about treasures, this is the vintage half of the shop, absolutely beautifully laid out. It was particularly taken by these boxed vintage Christmas tree decorations. Having a good look as well from the window of the shop looking in. It's all beautifully displayed. And in actual fact, we went back at the end of the afternoon to buy things we'd missed the first time round. As we headed up the high street, I spotted this deco mesh wreath in one of the stores. And we crossed the road and heading up to the hospice shop. And we stopped to look at these decorative bollard toppers. I don't know whether the WI in your area knits these toppers. We've got them in town, but on top of our post boxes rather than the bollards. fun item to look at. So here we are at the Heart of Hospice charity shop. And I did actually make an unexpected purchase in this shop. I bought myself a full-length sequin evening dress which I wore to a friend's wedding reception later that evening. It was held in a local castle which was all dressed up for Christmas. And you see those plates on the shelf there with a crinkly edge, the brown detail on them. This is quite crazed. It's Copeland Spode, the Sorrento pattern. And then we came across a shelf of Christmas fiction. I didn't buy any books because I've already got 3 that I'm working my way through. Let me know in the comments whether there's anything here that catches your eye, or perhaps you're a Christmas puzzle addict. There's plenty here for just £3 or £4. And do you remember that deco mesh wreath that I showed you earlier on that caught my eye? It's really hard to buy deco mesh here in the UK, so I was quite surprised to see these reels here for £2. I am scrabbling around in a box of Christmas ornaments. What do you think? Should I buy it? Or leave it behind for somebody else to enjoy? As you can see, this is a very well stocked shop and the staff were absolutely delightful. Having spent up in this shop, we went round the corner to the Sue Ryder charity shop. This is another quite a small shop, long and narrow, but beautifully displayed, colour coordinated displays. Now I don't normally shop for clothes or shoes in charity shops, but as I just bought my £10 evening dress, I thought I might look out for shoes, and these shoes came home with me, so I managed to buy my whole wedding outfit for less than £20. I stopped with another rather nice selection of brassware, and then in the ugly vase category, this brown piece of pottery from the Rushton pottery. I'm not exactly sure where they're based. And then this set of Christmas tree bells for £1.50. They look as if they're vintage to me, with their original packaging. I decided I didn't really need any more Christmas decorations, so I left them behind for someone else to enjoy. Take a look at the blue mug with the gold handle. It looks like it's hanging upside down. It's on the little raised display area. It caught my eye, but I really don't need any more Christmas mugs. And then on the bottom of the blue and white shelves, I spotted this combination. It's a little egg cup holder and a plate. And I think the maker's mark said Bavaria. There were 3 of them. They would have made a lovely gift. And check out this beautiful vintage crockery bone china made in England. While we were in this shop, one of the other customers overheard my friend saying she was looking for containers to plant some spring flowering bulbs in. And the other customer said, why don't you think about these glass dishes? If you take your bulbs out of the little pots, wash away the soil, put some gravel or decorative glass nuggets in the bottom of the container, enough water just to have a little at the bottom of the dish but not soaking or rising up the container, and then you plant your bulbs on the top. They don't actually have to be in soil. I thought that was a really great tip and lovely to share with conversation with somebody else in the shop. And then do you remember these beaded garlands from yesteryear? I can remember my mum had a set in gold and red. It must have been in the early to mid 80s. That's what, 40 years ago now? And then we headed off to Betty Boo's Cafe for lunch on the recommendation of the staff at the last charity shop. And on the way, we went past this lovely florist shop. We stopped to admire her holly wreaths, so £12 there for a holly wreath. And this shop is called Sweet William. We've been in it before. It's absolutely beautiful. And I noticed they've got a side window with some really fabulous Christmas arrangements which may inspire you in terms of colour combinations of what you might like to put on your decorative table for Christmas this year. So spring planting bulbs, hyacinths all ready to go. There are a couple of buckets of buried ivy for sale. And then as we look in the shop window, looking at the dried oranges. I don't know whether you saw my video last week when I air dried orange slices. And then as we pan just off to the side, see the purple candle and that deep pink Christmas rose. Looks absolutely beautiful. So nice to see some colours that aren't the traditional reds, silvers and golds. And after lunch we wandered back up to the church and checked out more of the trees that were being decorated. And this tree here, sponsored by the local jeweller, and the sign in the love heart says, "Take a chocolate." So we did. By now the rain had stopped and we're starting to get a little bit of winter sunshine. Taking a walk up the side path of the church. Some beautiful houses around here. Watching this family group decorate their tree. We then went into the church as they were holding a Christmas fair. So although you have missed the Christmas fair, I would still say it's worth visiting Headcorn, not only for the charity shops, but I'm imagining these Christmas trees will be in place right the way through the festive season. And apparently they're on timed lights, so if you get there at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you should have a beautiful, magical experience. So would you like to have a look at my Christmas charity shop haul? I picked up this little bag here. Well, not so much of a little bag. It's a sack for Christmas presents. So it says Happy Christmas at the bottom. And there is Father Christmas himself. I thought the ticket said £1, but when I got to the checkout, it was £1.50. And I think that's going to look really great. Filled with gifts from Father Christmas and left at the end of my daughter's bed on Christmas Eve. And I picked up this little rocking horse. Now this wasn't actually from the charity shop. It was from the little vintage store. It was from the little vintage shop which was attached to the equine charity shop in Headcorn village. And I spotted these next to the checkout counter, £2.50, a little wooden hand-painted horse. I'm going to put that on my mantelpiece and just tap it and get it to rock from time to time. And aren't these decorations just beautiful? A couple dancing and the lady here is holding a snowman in her hand. They brought back memories for me of the kind of decorations that I'd seen in our holiday to Vienna in the summertime. I don't know whether you watched the video that I filmed in Salzburg at their Christmas museum. I'll leave a link to that in the description underneath this video. And I paid 75p each, so £1.50 for these ornaments. They could probably do with a little bit of a clean. So I'll take a damp cloth and a toothbrush just to freshen them up a little bit. And then they'll go straight onto my Christmas tree. And I bought 4 vintage baubles. I found these for sale at a Christmas fair in a local church, and I paid 50p each for them. They remind me of the decorations that my mum and dad had on their Christmas tree. And I think their ornaments probably dated from their first Christmas after they got married in 1957. A lovely red flower on this one, the blue back. And this pink one with a blue band and more flowers and a point at the end. I have to be really careful with these, otherwise they will shatter very easily. And if I don't hang them on my Christmas tree, I might just put them in a glass bowl to admire. I've also bought myself 4 glass goblets. Can you see the little Christmas detail at the top? The holly leaves and the amber base. Each of these glasses cost me 50p. I've already used them a couple of times. They make great glasses for orange juice or a glass of sparkling water with the addition of a dried orange slice garnish. Cheers! And for those of you who are already members of my special YouTube membership group, I've got some extra footage for you showing the Christmas fair held inside Headcorn Church. And if you're not already a member, all you need to do is to click the join button in the description underneath this video. Well, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments which of my thrifted finds were your favourite. That's all for me for now, and I'll see you again next time.